When you set out to achieve your dream, one of the first things you have to understand, you cannot rely on your feelings. Feelings are temporary. They come and go like the wind. Come and go like the wind. And if you let them dictate your actions, you'll never get far. Discipline doesn't ask you how you feel. It commands you to act regardless of emotion. Too many people quit because they only move when they feel motivated. Only show up when they feel energized. Only put in effort when the mood strikes them. That's why so many dreams die in the hearts of people. They're waiting for motivation instead of relying on commitment. Commitment is what separates those who succeed from those who settle. Commitment says, I don't care if I'm tired. I don't care if I don't feel like it. I don't care if the weather is bad. And I'm going to keep pushing because my dream demands. Think about the most successful athletes, entrepreneurs, artists, or leaders you admire. Do you think they felt like working every single day? Absolutely not. There were mornings when they wanted to stay in bed. There were nights when they didn't want to practice, study, or train. But they understood that the dream was bigger than their feelings, and so they showed up anyway. That's the difference. You may not always feel motivated, but you can always be disciplined. Discipline is the muscle that keeps you going when motivation runs out. And make no mistake, motivation will run out. There will be days you're exhausted, days when nothing seems to go right, days when the thought of grinding again feels unbearable. That's when discipline takes over. Your feelings are a terrible guide for success because they change every day. One day you're on fire, the next day you're drained. One day you're inspired, the next day you're discouraged. If you build your dreams based on how you feel, your foundation will always be unstable. Commitment is the cement that holds the structure together. It doesn't waver when things get tough. It doesn't back down when obstacles show up. Commitment says, I gave my word to myself and I will not break it. The reality is, if you only work when you feel like it, you'll never be consistent enough to achieve greatness. Feelings cannot drive your journey. Your discipline must. And here's the truth. Success is not about intensity for one day. It's about consistency over years. Anybody can be passionate for a week. Anybody can get excited about a new idea or a project, but only the discipline remains when the excitement fades. It's not about how loud you shout when you start. It's about how steady you walk when the road gets long. Discipline is not glamorous. Discipline is not exciting. Discipline is waking up early day after day, repeating the same fundamental. It's putting in the work when nobody's clapping, when nobody's watching, when nobody even believes in you yet. It's in those quiet, unseen moments that champions are made, folks. So when you wake up tomorrow and you don't feel like getting up early, remember your dream. When you don't feel like studying, remember your dream. When you don't feel like training, remember your dream. Feelings will try to trick you into comfort, but commitment will push you into growth. And growth is never comfortable. Discipline forces you to stretch, to sacrifice, to endure. But in that process, you are shaping yourself into someone worthy of the dream, because dreams don't just demand talent, they demand transformation. And that transformation only happens when you act beyond your feelings. Every time you show up when you don't feel like it, you build strength. Every time you push through resistance, you prove to yourself that you are in control, not your emotions. That's where real power lies. When you no longer wait for motivation to knock on your door, but instead knock the door down with consistency. People who succeed don't have more motivation. They have more discipline. They've trained themselves to keep going rain or shine, happy or sad, tired or energized. They've learned to treat their dreams like a responsibility, not a hobby. So the next time you're tempted to skip the work because you don't feel like it, ask yourself this: does my dream care about my feeling? The answer is no. Your dream doesn't care that you're tired. Your dream doesn't care that you're not in the mood. Your dream doesn't care that you want comfort. Your dream only responds to discipline. And the truth is, once you commit long enough, feelings eventually follow. Momentum builds, and suddenly the thing you once resisted becomes a part of who you are. But it starts with commitment over feeling, with the decision that no matter what, you will show up for your dream. Your dreams are not built in a single day, and they are not built with a single big moment of effort. They are built in small, consistent actions that seem almost invisible at first. The mistake many people make is thinking that success is about one grand gesture, one breakthrough, or one lucky opportunity. But the truth is, success is about discipline in the little things you do every single day. It's brushing your craft over and over, even when nobody is looking. It's taking care of details that seem unimportant now but will become the foundation later. Dreams are realized brick by brick, habit by habit, routine by routine. Every time you choose discipline over laziness, you lay another stone in the path toward your future. Think about a mason building a wall. Nobody sees progress after one brick. Nobody applauds after 2 bricks. But the mason keeps going brick at a time because he knows eventually those bricks will form a structure. Your dream works the same way. Every hour you put into reading, every practice session, every late night studying, every early morning workout, it's all a brick. Individually, they might not look like much. But when stacked day after day, they create something solid, something powerful, something that can't be ignored. That's why discipline is so critical. Without it, you'll keep leaving gaps in your wall, and your dream will never stand strong. So many people quit because they get bored with the process. They want instant results. They want the body in a week, the business in a month, the career in a year. They don't realize that the magic lies in repetition. Discipline is about embracing routine, about showing up daily even when it feels monotonous. Champions don't master one thing once. They master it through endless repetition until it becomes second nature. What you do consistently becomes who you are. Your habits create your identity. If you wake up every day and choose to push a little further, you are shaping yourself into the kind of person who can hold the weight of your dreams. And here's what separates those who achieve from those who don't: the willingness to stick with small daily actions when the results are not visible. You might be practicing and not see progress. You might be saving money and feel like it doesn't matter. You might be studying and wonder if it's worth it. But discipline teaches you to trust the process. The seeds you plant today will not sprout tomorrow, but they will sprout in time if you keep watering them. The ones who fail are those who plant and walk away too soon. Dreams don't demand that you move mountains in one day. They demand that you move pebbles every day until the mountain shifts. It's easy to get excited about the big picture, the car, the house, the stage, the recognition. Excitement without discipline is just fantasy. The real work happens in the unseen, ordinary moments. Waking up early when you can sleep in. Choosing to read instead of scrolling. Practicing that skill one more time instead of watching TV. These decisions don't feel like they're changing your life, but they are. The compound effect of small disciplined actions is unstoppable. A little progress every day adds up to massive results over time. That's why discipline in daily habits is so powerful. It multiplies quietly until suddenly people call you an overnight success, not realizing you've been working for years. Every dream has a daily demand attached to it. If you want to be fit, the dream demands you eat clean and train consistently. If you want to be wealthy, the dream demands you budget, invest, and live below your means. If you want to be excellent in your career, the dream demands you study, network, and sharpen your skills every day. Too many people want the reward without the routine. They want the harvest without planting. But the dream only answers to discipline. Every time you do the small things right, you're proving to your dream that you're ready for the big things. The danger of ignoring small habits is that they pile up in the opposite direction too. Just like small disciplined actions build success, small careless actions build failure. Skipping one workout becomes skipping a week. Spending recklessly today becomes debt tomorrow. Ignoring practice one day becomes mediocrity over time. Discipline doesn't just build dreams. It protects you from destruction. That's why daily habits matter so much. They're not optional if you want to live at the level of your dream. So don't wait for the dramatic breakthrough moment. Don't wait for the perfect time. Don't wait for the perfect time. Start now with the little things you can control today. Build momentum through consistency, and when it feels like nothing is happening, remind yourself that the wall doesn't appear overnight. Keep laying bricks, keep planting seeds, keep repeating the fundamentals. Every dream you have comes with a price tag attached, and that price is sacrifice. Too many people want success without giving anything up. They want the body, but not the diet. The degree, but not the study. The business, but not the long nights and uncertainty. They want the dream without the discipline, the reward without the responsibility. But life doesn't work that way. Every level of success demands that you leave something behind. The question is, are you willing to pay the cost? Because the higher the dream, the higher the price. Sacrifice is uncomfortable because it forces you to choose between what you want now and what you want most. The present moment screams for pleasure, for rest, for entertainment, for comfort, but your future demands something greater. Discipline forces you to deny yourself temporary satisfaction so you can experience permanent fulfillment later. You can't spend your money recklessly and expect financial freedom. You can't eat anything you want and expect a strong, healthy body. You can't waste hours scrolling and expect mastery of your craft. Every decision comes with a trade-off, and every dream requires you to give up something you love in exchange for something you love even more. Sacrifice doesn't just build discipline, it builds character. It shapes you into someone strong enough to handle the dream when it arrives. Think about it. If you can't sacrifice sleep for study, how will you sacrifice comfort for leadership? If you can't sacrifice small luxuries to invest, how will you handle the weight of wealth? The sacrifices you make today prepare you for the responsibilities of tomorrow. They're not punishments, they're preparation. Every sacrifice you embrace is shaping you into the version of yourself who can thrive at the next level. The truth is, people often look at successful individuals and only see the glory, never the story. They see the car, the house, the stage, the career, the freedom, but they don't see the sacrifices behind the scene. They don't see the nights spent grinding while everyone else slept. They don't see the meal skip, parties missed, the money saved instead of spent, the relationships that had to be cut off, the habits that had to be broken. Success looks glamorous in public, but it is built on quiet, lonely sacrifices in private. If you're not willing to embrace those sacrifices, you'll never get to taste that level of success. Sacrifice also means letting go of people and environments that no longer serve your dream. You cannot fly with eagles if you're still hanging out with chickens. Some of your friends, some of your relationships, some of your circles are keeping you stuck. They're comfortable where they are. But your dream requires you to move forward. Discipline demands that you sacrifice acceptance and validation from others in exchange for alignment with your vision. And yes, that hurts. It hurts to outgrow people. It hurts to walk away from things that once brought you joy. But it's necessary because you can't hold on to the old life and reach for the new one at the same time. There's another side to sacrifice that most people overlook. It teaches you to value what you earn. When you sacrifice for something, you don't take it lightly. If you work long nights to build your business, you won't waste the profits. If you sacrifice comfort to get fit, you won't casually throw away your progress. Sacrifice gives you ownership. It gives you pride. It gives you respect for the dream you're building. That's why shortcuts never last. Because when you don't pay the price, you don't appreciate the reward. And make no mistake, the world will test you. The moment you decide to chase a dream, distractions will come harder than ever. Opportunity to take the easy road will appear. People will tell you it's not worth it, that you're wasting your time, that you should relax. But sacrifice is about staying locked in, staying focused, refusing to exchange what you want most for what you want right now. That's where discipline becomes your greatest ally. Discipline reminds you why you started. Discipline helps you say no to the short term, so you can say yes to the long term. Discipline keeps you on the path when the temptation to quit grows strongest. What you sacrifice defines what you become. If you sacrifice time, you gain growth. If you sacrifice comfort, you gain strength. If you sacrifice distraction, you gain focus. Every loss is an investment into a greater return. Nothing you give up for your dream is wasted. It all comes back multiplied when the vision becomes reality. But if you refuse to sacrifice, you end up sacrificing the dream itself. You can either give up what's holding you back, or you can give up the future you were destined for. The choice is always yours. So when the road gets tough, when you're tempted to relax, when you feel the pull of comfort and ease, remind yourself, this is the price. The biggest enemy of your dream is not always failure, and it's not always a lack of resources or talent. The biggest enemy is distraction. We live in a world that is louder and busier than ever before, full of voices, screens, and temptations pulling you in every direction. If you're not disciplined, you'll spend your days chasing everything except the very thing that matters most. Focus is the weapon that cuts through the noise, and discipline is the force that allows you to wield it. Without focus, your energy is scattered, your time is wasted, and your dream slowly slips out of your grasp. Distraction comes in many forms. Sometimes it looks like entertainment, hours on your phone, social media scrolling, binge watching shows that add nothing to your growth. Sometimes it looks like comfort, choosing rest when you should be grind instead of the hard one. Sometimes distraction comes disguised as opportunity. Too many projects, too many are good at things that pull you away from the great thing. The truth is, not everything that looks good is good for your dream. You have to learn to filter, to prioritize, to protect your vision from anything that doesn't push it forward. Discipline is what helps you say no, even when saying yes feels easier. Focus requires you to decide what matters most and lock in on it. It demands clarity. If you don't know what your dream requires, everything will feel important and you'll spread yourself too thin. Discipline means drawing a line between what contributes to your vision and what wastes your energy. It means waking up every day with your dream in front of you and asking, does this action bring me closer to it? Or does it pull me further away? When you live with that kind of intentionality, distractions lose their power over you. But make no mistake, staying focused isn't easy. The world will constantly try to grab your attention. Your phone will buzz. Your friends will call. Your comfort zone will whisper. And sometimes the distraction won't come from outside. It will come from within. Your mind will try to convince you to procrastinate, to rest a little longer, to take a shortcut. That's when discipline becomes your anchor. Discipline tells you that no matter how tempting the distraction is, your dream is worth more. It tells you that the show, the nap, the quick fix will still be there later, but the opportunity to build your future may not. When you learn to focus, your productivity multiplies. Think about the power of a magnifying glass. If you move it around randomly, the sun's rays don't do much. But if you hold it steady in one spot, that same light becomes fire. Your life works the same way. Scattered effort produces little results, but concentrated effort creates power. Discipline trains you to hold steady, to stay locked in long enough for the fire to ignite. That's why some people seem to achieve so much in a short period. They're not doing more than you, they're just more focused than you. Focus also requires you to make sacrifices. You can't say yes to everything and still reach your dream. Every time you say yes to one thing, you are saying no to another. If you say yes to endless social media, you are saying no to progress. If you say yes to constant distraction, you are saying no to growth. Discipline forces you to count the cost and make the tough decisions. It means saying no to nights out, so you can wake up early. It means saying no to gossip, so you can feed your mind with knowledge. It means saying no to instant pleasure, so you can experience long-term success. And here's the truth, focus is freedom. People think discipline restricts them, but in reality, it liberates them. When you're focused, you stop wasting energy on things that don't matter. You stop living in chaos, pulled in every direction. You start living with intention, with purpose, with power. That kind of focus creates momentum, and momentum creates breakthroughs. The longer you stay locked in, the more unstoppable you become. Of course, there will be times you slip. Nobody is perfect. You will get distracted. You will lose focus. You will fall short. But discipline means you don't stay there. You notice the drift, and you pull yourself back on track. You don't let a small distraction turn into a permanent detour. The dream is too important for that. Every time you regain focus, you build resilience. Every time you resist distraction, you strengthen your vision. So the real question is not whether you have talent, not whether you have resources, not even whether you have motivation. The question is, can you focus? Can you shut out the noise long enough to build something meaningful? Can you resist the lure of temporary pleasures for the promise of long-term success? Can you discipline yourself to stay locked in when everyone else is drifting? Because if you can, your dream will become inevitable. Failure is not the end of the road. It's simply part of the journey. The problem is most people don't have the resilience to push through failure, and that's why their dreams never materialize. They start strong, but the moment things get hard, the moment they face rejection, the moment they hit a wall, they quit. What they don't realize is that failure is not a signal to stop. It's an invitation to grow. Discipline is what gives you the ability to get back up again and again when life knocks you down. Resilience is born out of discipline, and dreams demand that you develop it. Every great story you admire is filled with setbacks. The athletes you cheer for, the entrepreneurs you respect, the leaders you look up to, they all face failure, but they didn't let failure define them. They used it to refine them. That's the difference. Failure doesn't destroy you. Quitting does. Discipline tells you that falling short today doesn't mean you'll fall short forever. Discipline reminds you that losing a battle doesn't mean you've lost the war. The only way to truly lose is to stop trying. And the only way to keep trying is to have the resilience to rise after every fall. When you hit failure, it tests your character. Do you crumble or do you adapt? Do you let it paralyze you or do you let it propel you? Discipline gives you the strength to view failure not as a dead end, but as feedback. It tells you what doesn't work so you can find what does. The most successful people in history are not the ones who avoided failure, but the ones who endured it long enough to find their breakthrough. They turned rejection into redirection, mistakes into lessons, obstacles into stepping stones. That mindset is only possible when you are disciplined enough to keep moving forward despite the pain. The truth is, failure is inevitable. No matter how smart, talented, or prepared you are, you will fail along the way. You will face setbacks you didn't expect. You will encounter resistance you didn't plan for. You will make mistakes you regret. That's life.